We're back and in Central. Des is uncovering the efforts in building up the craft beer market in Hong Kong. Let's see what's on tap.
Tim, it's really good to see you. Your background is so interesting, and it's, I think, so integral on getting you to where you are today.
I started when I was young, just kind of out of high school. I got a job with one of the big beer companies out of Canada, and kind of developed a love for all things F&B and beer, of course, and I've been able to leverage that across, the world over the course of the last 20 years. And I've been doing this in Australia, Korea, as well as China for the past 10 years, and now I've been in Hong Kong for just over 2.5 years since COVID hit.
Okay. Perfect timing?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, great timing. And it's been great to kind of see this grow. Even in the face of kind of COVID and all the waves that we've been having here, we've been able to really grow the brands that we have and kind of build the teams.
You said in your corporate job, one of your roles was really to kind of build teams and to make sure different parts of the businesses understood each other.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing that, and how do you nurture a culture, especially for a much smaller outfit than a big corporate boy?
I think you have to lead by example, I think this isn't an easy job. It's not a 9-to-5. Because of my past, I've gone through most of the hard yards. So I understand the grievances that people have. We understand what the issues are that people might have, and what we try and do is we try and react faster than they can in terms of dealing with those issues that might arise and put them on the right platform to be successful. Are we providing them an atmosphere where failure is okay? I think a lot of the times people are afraid to do something wrong, whereas in a young company, we're gonna mess up all the time.
Yep.
Like it's gonna happen. Best laid plans, like smartest person in the world is gonna mess something up. So I think it creates a culture where everyone starts to band together because they want to pick themselves up at the same time.
We're in the heart of Lan Kwai Fong. I mean, anybody who knows this space knows this is basically where the action is.
Yep.
You mentioned the pandemic. It's been going on for the better part of 3 years now.
Yeah.
So to take a space like this in the middle of the pandemic, I mean, it's a risk.
Yeah.
What's the vision behind this place? Why do you guys do it?
Laying in all your chips, so to speak. I think for us, it's kind of a really wonderful opportunity for us to go bigger, go home. People thought we were crazy when we started, that it wouldn't work, that it would fail. The concept would fail. This isn't a tap room. How are you going to sell beer in Lan Kwai Fong? How are you going to serve elevated gastropub food? We had conviction that we could do it. And, we have a great team that we put together. An all-star lineup is how we like to describe it, of guys who are willing to speak their mind, who are willing to take risks.
That sounds like your decision-making is a collaborative effort?
Yeah, 100% collaborative. I think we try and take everyone's skill set and everyone's opinion. We give everyone the opportunity to speak their mind and have the collaborative process within what they're doing. And then we all agree upon something and then we go. And that helps to create ownership within the process, right? If they're invested, if they get their, I did this cocktail, or, I know you guys were at the brewery earlier today. Oh, I made this beer. That person has so much pride in the fact that their beer is now being put in a place like this. For me, it's a lot more tangible and a lot more enjoyable for a person who works for us. The really interesting thing about working here is obviously we try and do collaborative beer projects with other brewmasters and other brands. We kind of think outside the box in terms of our collaborations as well. So we've worked with some of the most famous cinematographers in Hong Kong on beer. We've worked with famous fashion brands, with famous tea brands, with donut brands on beers. Just to try and learn and adapt and have cool projects and fun things. And it's not only, it's been successful, but it's just really cool to put beer in a different light, right? Who'd have thought that a fashion brand would have their own beer? And now they have a collaborative beer that, you go in and you buy product and you get a free beer while you're touring their shop.
But it's under their name.
It's under their name. We are really driven to do collaborations outside of kind of the norm. And then at the same time, we are very keen to keep a community spirit about us. For Hong Kong especially, there aren't a lot of products tangible items that are being made in Hong Kong anymore. They're less and less and less. So we have this kind of wonderful thing that we can provide for other people, and that's why we try and do these outreach things, because we can actually give them something they can put in their hand and be proud about.
Ted, you have very kindly chosen a beer for me today. Tell me more about it.
So it's called Funky Rich Lupulins. It's actually from the brewery that you guys were earlier at. If you remember the barrel room, that's actually where the beer is from. So this beer is actually made in a very time-honored process of mixed fermentation and wild fermentation.
Ooh.
So it has like a nice mix of yeast and bacteria in it that ferments it. So it gives a more nuanced flavor to the beer.
Very complex. Now, I want to get back to your shop here. Tell us about the vision of this place. I mean, we're in a neighborhood that's so historic Hong Kong. What were some of the decisions behind this concept?
So the founding of this place is that so that we could showcase a wider spectrum of craft beer, what craft beer really can be. When we started out 4 or 5 years ago, the beer market was a bit immature, so it really focused on really full flavored beers such as IPAs and stouts. Not to say that they're not good, but it doesn't paint a full picture of what craft beer really can be. So that's why we sourced a lot of beers from overseas, US, from Belgium. I guess we chose this street because it's quite quaint. The corner store, the ceilings. We wanted a place that people can really relax and really focus on the beers. Like, we wanted to design a place in a sense that it's quite minimalistic, so it doesn't take away from the beer experience.
Right.
Yeah.
How much of your job is educating the public and educating people about craft beer? Because, like you said, it's kind of niche. You know, it's getting more popular. But you said 5 years ago when you guys started, it wasn't something that's super popular.
I think more of my job is educating the team, because beer terms and jargons can be very esoteric. So it's really about breaking down those terms and making it accessible to a wider audience, to the public. That's why on the menu we write our beers by flavor profile. We do write the beer style, but I think the flavor profile is something that we do to better communicate with our guests.
What's your hope for the takeaway for the person who walks in here?
To discover something new, really. I think beer really breaks the barriers in terms of what wine can do. The flavor spectrum is a lot wider than wine, so it plays well with food, and also that beer is not just this watered-down commercial drink that you can just get off the 7-Eleven. There's a wide flavor spectrum when it comes to craft beer.
For someone who's used to drinking commercial beer,
Yeah.
you know, can it be intimidating walking in here? Because it seems like, whoa, I didn't know there can be so much information about beer.
I think we try to water down the beers to something easily understood and digestible, so that it's not too overwhelming for them.
Ted, so many things have changed in Hong Kong because of the pandemic. You know, it seems like the F&B industry, to begin with, people have very short attention spans. How has the bar scene changed over the last few years, and where do you see it heading?
I think consumers nowadays are more educated, and they're more aware of the product that they're buying. So they're a bit more cognizant about the effort and time and the sort of methods that go into the process of making the alcohol. So I think the focus would be more on, for lack of a better word, craft. They want to know about the brewing story behind the beer per se, or the winemaking story. So I think more bars would be focused on smaller wine or beer makers, focus on quality, and also really on the process of how the product is made.
You know how they say find what you love to do and you'll never work another day in your life? Well, I'm very lucky in this regard because I love what I do. And part of it is because I get to talk to and learn from people like the guys I talked to today. Connor, Brian, Tim, Ted, they all work in various functions within craft brewing industry. What I liked is they all have a passion and knowledge they can impart into their team culture as well as for beer drinkers. And at the end of it, they're able to produce a product they can share, and that's a beautiful thing.